Hey, Steph, I was wondering what it was like to face off against Raúl's shots in training all the time, and if you had a favorite story about Raúl, either on or off the field, that kind of shows how special he is for you guys.
Um, Raul's a competitor. I'll tell you that. And I think one of the first trainings I had with him was we were in Atlanta. I think it was in Atlanta, and we were playing small sided games. And the ball ended up bouncing about 3 yards in front of me, and he blasted it as hard as he could right at my chest. And I made the save. I'll have you know. But I think everybody was a little bit like, "Whoa!" Like he even himself was a little bit like taken aback. But I think he's such a competitor. He just wants to score. He did the same thing a couple of days ago to Stefan Cleveland and pegged him in the head from about 3 yards out because he's do or die. He doesn't care. He wants to score a goal and he wants to compete and win. And that kind of edge, that drive is what you see on the field on weekends. You see him make that extra sprint with the extra determination to try to get there, or he just wants to put it all out there and succeed. So it's good to have him on the squad.
Rachel Krieger, you're up next, followed by Chris Francis. Rachel, please go ahead.
Hey, Steph, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. My question for you, this is something that you had to deal with a lot over the years, but a lot of moving parts on defense. How do you adjust to a new starting 11, especially in the playoffs when, consistency is something that's, kind of preached, I guess, for lack of better phrase?
Yeah, I think there'll be turnover every season. That's just part of it. Players move on, players retire, players are injured, new players come in. It's just part of the game. I think for us, I would argue the opposite. If you look at this, this spell of MLS Cup appearances, we have a good amount that have been there from the get-go. I think it's five-ish, somewhere around that neighborhood. That have been there in 2016, and guys who have joined the squad since then along the way. So it's slotting in those new pieces and making them understand what makes this team tick as quickly as possible. We talk about players gelling with each other. That's definitely one thing. You need to figure out each other's new tendencies. What works. What does a player prefer? What does he not like to do? But it's also important that those new players quickly get up to speed in terms of what the expectations is to be on this team. And we pride ourselves in being a hardworking squad that never gives up and keeps fighting to the very end, as evident by our last achievement against Minnesota at home. And so with that, I think we've always succeeded in bringing in those new pieces and bringing them up to speed when it comes to that. So I think we also take pride in the fact that we always know from the very beginning of the season that your squad has to be deeper than 11 players for you to succeed. And so whenever we have those situations where, players go out on international duty or they're injured and we have someone that needs to step up, I think we sense opportunities there to gain some wisdom, some experience that will hopefully come to help us in the long run. And lo and behold, it comes through again. We've had guys who were started against Minnesota that maybe you didn't think would start in the beginning of the season. And here we are successfully getting through and playing against Columbus in the final again. So I'm always happy to see that depth and that competitiveness that runs deeper than just the first 11.
Okay, next we go to Chris Francis, and Chris will be followed by Jeremiah Oshan. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Steph, I'm trying to get a sense of how you'll see this match against Columbus playing out, especially early on. It's been since March since you faced them, but Caleb Porter and the way they like to play. Will it be kind of a battle of who can take over first, I guess?
That's the question, right? I mean, obviously we want to be able to be in control from as early on as possible. I'm sure they would argue the same thing. but that's the beauty of the game, right? I think soccer, there's no timeouts when things are stacked against you to reset you. It's a game of ebbs and flows, and you know, there will be a spell where they're in control. There will be a spell that we are in control. Question is what you do with that, right? I think we found ourselves in difficult situations before this year, you know, where we had maybe a lot of possession, but we didn't know what to do with it. We, you know, would try to go out into crosses and weren't successful there. So I think we've gathered a lot of experience on how we want to do things and how we can adapt if maybe something doesn't work. But make no mistake, I think they're going to have their moments. They're a very good side. You know, finals are always a testy affair, right? Nobody wants to make a mistake. People are on edge a little bit. They know the severity or the how big this moment is, and so you know, it'll be an interesting game. It'll be a final.
Jeremiah O'Shea, you're up, and he will be followed by Jason Mitchell. Jeremiah, go.
There was a time when Caleb was the coach of the Timbers where there seemed to be maybe not animosity, but certainly a healthy rivalry between Brian and Caleb. And it sounds like maybe they've settled some of their differences or come to a better understanding since then. But do the players get a sense of any kind of rivalry between coaches like that? And do you have any insight into how they might be different or how they might be similar? Caleb and Brian, that is.
No, I don't. Honestly, if the opponent is the Portland Timbers, then I don't really care who is the coach. I'm not going to like them. That's just how it is. I'm pretty sure they would say the same thing about us, our players and our coaches for that matter, our fans and our city and everything. That's just because it's an organic rivalry there. You know, I don't know if the fact that that Caleb moved on from Portland had something to do with them, like you're saying, maybe making up and being on better terms now. I'm not sure, but you know, that's a special game. Whenever we play against them, that is a special rivalry, and you sense that tension between those two organizations. And so, yeah, of course, there's no love lost between those sides. When it comes to the coaches, I wouldn't expect anything different. So. Whether they're, you know, buddies now or not, you're going to have to ask him. I'm not sure. Quite frankly, I don't really care. I'm trying to, you know, focus on the squad that we're about to face. I know what he brings to that squad in terms of how he wants them to play. He's a good coach. I think they have a clear system in terms of how they want to play and approach the game. So, yeah, I give him respect on that end for sure. A good coach, and that has won, obviously, this trophy before and is now itching to get another one. So, it'll be a good test on the coaching side, but as well as on the player side.
Okay, next we'll go to Jason Mitchell, and following Jason will be Felipe Maqueda. Jason, go ahead.
Hey, Steph. Obviously, all your focus right now is on the match, but one way or another, next week you'll be relaxing, I assume it. Home on Bainbridge with a Metropolitan Market cookie and some video games. Given what a tremendously difficult year it's been, do you feel a sense of relief when you think about the fact that the season is ending in a little over 48 hours?
Great question. You know, I'm supposed to sit here and say like, oh, and of course, you know, we want the season to go on to the very end, and thankfully for us, it has. But yes, you're also excited to finally be able to just to relax. You know, it's been a crazy year, and I feel guilty for saying that too, because, you know, it's been a crazy year for everybody out there with the pandemic and a lot of other things going on. You know, for me to be complaining about being able to go to my job and a non-essential job on top of that, and being able to play the beautiful game is a privilege. But it hasn't been easy, I'll tell you that. It's been difficult to adjust, adapt, still, you know, be able to somehow try to find normalcy in terms of preparing for games and try to find results to hopefully make our organization, our fans proud. And yeah, it's been a strange year. I'm excited to finally be able to relax at some point, but it sure would make it nicer to be able to do so with another trophy under our belt. So a couple more days to go, and then we'll get into that.
Next, we go to Felipe Maqueda, and following him will be Tyler Fisher. Felipe, go ahead.
Hi, Steph. Thank you for doing this. I would like to ask you, in your opinion, how does Brian Schmetzer transmit the winning mentality to the team, being him one of the more successful coaches in the league?
I think he's always, made it clear to the squad that, whatever you want to achieve, I think he's been able to convey the sense that this is an opportunity, and not be too pushy about it. Obviously, he wants us to win, and he wants us to, he wants this franchise to get trophies. But I think it's very important for players to realize how precious these moments are, and if you can realize that, it changes a little something in you, And I think ever since I've had for me personally speaking, I've had a bad injury towards the end of my career in Toronto. That was a bit of an eye opener for me. At that point, I was able to get just a handful of trophies with the Canadian Cup, and that's what we always play for is hardware. And so again, I just realized that wow, you have precious few moments to achieve things in this career. And so I was very blessed from the moment I came to the Seattle Sounders to be able to add on a consistent basis to the trophy cabinet. But with that, I never lost that sense of it's a very fragile time, and moments can arrive or they may not arrive. You can have the best year as a team, even you can have a stellar year, and one thing happens and you don't advance, and that's the end of your season. So these moments are precious, and I think he conveys that moment or that sense of urgency or that sense of possibility really well to the squad, and has us focus throughout the year on just every game to try to build up to that. But when we do get closer to possibly getting to such an opportunity, that we are all fully aware that where we are currently.
Okay, we'll have time for one more for Stefan. Tyler Fisher, please go ahead.
Hey, Stefan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Question really quick. The game back in March saw the connection of Luis Diaz and Giassi Zardes. They have been kind of a lethal connection for Columbus throughout the season. Was just wondering, how can you and your defense contain that heading into Saturday?
Well, I think Zardes has always been a good player, but I think I really like his game since he's joined the Columbus Crew. I think he's multifaceted. He's strong in the air. He makes smart striker runs, peeling off a guy's shoulder in the back. He's got lots of tools in his bag. So I think we have to make sure we're always aware of where he's at. We got to contest crosses. I think our defensive efforts in terms of limiting crosses and set pieces can improve. I know that. So I think that would help a long way if you could maybe limit the service to him. But that's it. Good players will find their moments. We have to disrupt him and a number of other players as much as we can. The service of Santos, Celarian, those are top players. So we got to get under the skin of all those guys to make it as difficult as possible and limit their chances.
Terrific. Stefan, thank you very much, and good luck to you on Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Stay safe, everybody.